Hello, we're outside today. This is a requested video from Hussein, and Hussein asked for my opinions on alimony, and basically whether it was fair or what, just my general opinion on how all the women seem to get the alimony and men don't. And I think it would behoove us to look at a background as to why alimony exists in the first place, and we can analyze it from there. Alimony was based on the idea that men and women would stay married like those vows meant something. I don't know. And that the woman, her job traditionally was to stay at home, and her literal job was to stay at home and raise the children and take care of the house. And the guy then would go out and work up the money. Well, now the problem or the paradox this puts the woman into is, well, what if the guy's really abusive or mean, or you just want to divorce him for whatever reason it isn't working out? There certainly were situations where the husbands are bad. Well, the woman would have failed to have gone to school because she would have been raising these children and would have no marketable skills then when she would get divorced. In other words, her primary provider would have been the guy, her husband, and if he was abusive and she left him, well, she was shit out of luck. Not to mention she'd have to raise these kids. So the concept of alimony came about, where it's like, okay, you have to provide, today in the U.S., it's what the woman has grown accustomed to. So if you were providing a standard of living of around $50,000 per year, you would have to pay out the $25,000, presumably her half, so she continues to enjoy that. And that's in addition to any child support that you may have to pay for the kid. All right, and then you've made $100,000, she gets $50,000. Right? So while that is the logic, the problem is it ain't 1910 no more. It's today, and this creates a little bit of a problem. Now, there's three different ways, essentially, of how you can approach it. One is where you use the historical norms. It's like, well, the women worked all the time, or the woman is at home working, she didn't have time to raise her children, didn't go to school, so she needs alimony. The other one, which I would consider on the other end of the spectrum, is Stefan Molyneux's kind of approach, where he views being a wife and a mother a job, and that if you quit being a wife and a mother, or a wife in this particular case, taking care of the house and taking care of the husband, you still have the children, you still get child support, you've quit your job, and therefore you don't deserve to get paid, and tough shit and tough cookies on you if you weren't preparing for it. Where I guess I'm kind of in the middle, although I guess maybe a third point that really isn't necessarily on the spectrum, is my primary problem with alimony, especially in the Western culture, is since when have women, especially in this generation, stayed at home and been mothers and wives? They don't. They go get careers, they spit out a kid, they can't wait to get rid of it and drop it off in daycare, drop it off at a nanny. So my issue would be, well, is the woman really a wife and a mother, or is she just an incubator for children that she spits out and doesn't care to raise, and she's got to go back to her high-powered career? So that's where I would discern between the two. If the woman was really a good mom, raised the kids, took care of the house, took care of her husband, and it was a job, and she did not go to school because she was too busy tending to her family, then yeah, actually I think the women do deserve alimony in that case. To half, I don't know about that. I mean, you would presume, hey, you today, independent women, equality, you go get a job here and then we'll phase it out. But for the women, in general, not all of them fall into this category, but for the women that typically spit out the kid, outsource it to daycare, and then, have it on the weekends, oh, look, take pictures, Facebook selfies, yay, okay, get the fuck out of here, kid. Those women don't deserve alimony because they obviously did not give up their career. They've given up their children, they've forfeited their family, they've given up on their husband and the house, but they're still out there working. Right? So if they already have a career, and it'll be obvious, like, oh, well, I stayed with my kid for 3 weeks after I gave birth, and then I shipped it out to daycare, fuck them, because I have to get back to work in my career. Well, no, that was the whole point of alimony. You don't get alimony, or at least you don't deserve alimony. Because what would end up happening is if the guy ends up having to pay you alimony, 9 out of 10 times he's just paying for you to have a bullshit career. Not all women, but most women major in bullshit careers. It's always the guy that does the engineering, works hard, accountant, something, I don't know, surgeon, and then women, well, I'm a social worker, I'm an elementary school teacher.
I just like working with children. I'm over at the county. I work at the DMV part-time.
That's a guy. I'm a writer. That's my favorite one. They're artists. I am a writer. I have a studio. I gotta write. I gotta paint. Paint and write the crappiest shit. That guy, what you're basically saying is the responsible person who worked hard and went into a rigorous field of study and therefore has a rigorous career and does real, genuine economic production is basically paying for your bullshit hobby career. Again, it's not a career. Let's not besmirch the word career. He's paying for your hobby. That's bullshit. All right? You had your choice. You went to school. You majored in something stupid. You have your fake career. You have your hobby. And now that you're divorced, you should suffer the consequences of you making that stupid decision and going into a stupid and easy and cake field. The guy is subsidized. Now, again, this is should. It's not what it is. What ends up happening is the responsible guy. Sometimes it's the women. Sometimes women make more than men. It's the men that, I'm going to be a drummer, man. I'm a musician. I'm sure the ladies could email in the comments below. Tell me millions of stories of drummers and saxophone players. And I'll give you a joke. What do you call a saxophone player without a girlfriend? Homeless. Hey, that's an old joke. You can switch in drummer if you want it. But alimony in general, I'm sure would also work the other way. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you have someone who's making the money and some spouse, male or female, chose a stupid career, alimony really ends up becoming a subsidy for a person's stupid decisions. So that's it, Hussein. I hope that kind of helped and answered the question there. And for all of you, if you want me to go ahead and do a video, a requested video, it's you gotta pay for it because I gotta do other stuff in spring house. I have another life. I gotta make money otherwise. I can't do requests and answer emails all the time. So, send me an email. Go to assholeconsulting.com. Read up there. You'll see how it all works. That's all we got. Toodles.